I bought this 40 strawberry roots pack from Sam's Club. I got some organic raised bed soil from Lowe's and some pure worm casting from Walmart. I went ahead and planted my cucumber seeds, and now I'm just trying to get the soil in these pots. And so basically what I have to do is put in mostly the organic raised bed soil. Then I'm supposed to put just a handful of the worm casting in each of these containers and then mix it up. Which, yes, some of the containers are different sizes. So I'm sure the actual composition of how much of each is in there based on how big the container is probably isn't what it should be, but I just followed the instructions. It said a handful, and that's what I did. But so far, things are looking great. My soil is pretty alkaline, and I was able to test it because I ended up getting a soil tester from a sister I know, and that really helps me when it came to my bell pepper. But basically what I'm doing is just pouring these all up. What I'm planning for my garden is to have one cucumber plant, one bell pepper plant, 3 grow bags with strawberries, and and then I also have 2 extra containers that I'm also giving away to some people who also wanted some strawberry plants because there was 40 in the bag. And I also planted some at my mother's house not too long ago, and she used a pallet as a raised bed, and she used a kiddie pool for her strawberries. And so I'm really excited to see how they do, but it was a little sketchy to me just because the bag was just dirt, and we had to like separate all the little nodes of the strawberry roots. It was so dry that I just feel like I don't know if it's gonna work. Maybe we planned it too late. But on the back of the bag, it says 3 to 4 weeks, how long it takes for it to start sprouting. So I let the seeds soak in some water right quick, just so it's not bone dry when I put it in there. Because, yeah, they looked a little sorry, which is why I was kind of in a rush in the first place. But you're supposed to spread apart the roots before you plant it, and then you leave the top part like level with the soil. So I think I'm gonna try to put 2 in here, 2 strawberry plants, and that'll also help with it grading the odds. It wouldn't just be 1 plant in the pot. Water kind of just solidifies and makes the soil hug to the plant or the seed, whatever it is you're planting. So we're going to be done for today. I'll worry about making it cute later. I just need them in the soil in case they're still alive because I didn't want the strawberries to die. I was excited about having some, so hopefully I saved them. The bell pepper seeds I planted in the cups, they were overwatered, I believe. because it just had a whole bunch of white mold on it after 2 weeks of watering. Nothing ever sprouted. So I bought a plant from Walmart and it was looking pretty in this picture here, but it started drooping after that. I had also planted an additional 2 more cucumber plants just in case the other ones don't sprout. But this is what everything looked like the day after I finished planting everything. The original cucumbers that I started planting, they have sprouted. And so now I moved the bell pepper outside because it was starting to droop, and I thought it was due to me it being indoors. But that didn't help it stop drooping. It actually drooped worse and worse. I thought it might have been due to sunlight, but it wasn't. I thought it was growing out of the container, so I repotted it to another pot. But it continued looking droopy. So then a sister of mine, she gave me a soil tester. It tests the pH, the sunlight, and if the soil is moist enough. And yes, this thing, I tested it. It works well. First, I thought it was broken because it wasn't really moving at all. But that's just how bad my stuff was looking. My soil was bone dry. Mind you, I water it almost every other day. But it was bone dry, and even when the topsoil would be wet, when I would pull the stick out, it would pull out dry soil too, even after I would water it. But I watered it again, tested it, it barely moved up a little bit, and then I watered it again, and then I tested it again. It finally moved to the halfway mark. And once it did that, I realized this plant needs about 2 to 3 times more water than the rest of the plants. And that's probably why it didn't do good the first year that I had them, because it just wasn't getting enough water. Because I remember when I first had bell pepper, it like basically stunted growth. Like it just drooped and it never grew anymore. And I think it's because the soil wasn't wet enough. And cucumbers, they are also like heavy drinkers of water. So I think I really need to put at least almost a gallon into that soil just to make sure that they're both happy. And that my cucumber don't taste weird because it didn't get watered enough. Things like that. But it made my plant come back to life like basically the next day. And this is from like basically 1.5 days later. And now I have all my cucumbers sprouting. I have 5 cucumbers total. And then I have even 2 other strawberries have sprouted. They're like real tiny little green leaves, but I see them. And at least that let me know I have at least 1 or 2 strawberry plants that came up. Even though it came with 40 plants, it doesn't really matter if every single plant I planted sprouted, which I planted about 11 of them. But they grow runners, and those runners are more plants basically. So if I get 2 plants, I can make sure that I still fill up all those beds, trust me. But I learned a lot so far, and the garden season has just begun. Like, look at this before and after. Like, it's just crazy the difference that water makes. Thanks for watching, and I hope to take you on this journey more.